I gotta okay that. Okay. All right. Hey everybody. My name's Hakeem. This is Mikey.
Hello, my name is
Um,
Mikey. Good morning.
Good morning. We're two personal trainers that have devoted ourselves into helping people become fit into people's personal wellness and things within that life, right? Hence the name Practically Fit. Now, with that being said, I know that for the general audience at this point, you guys do not know us, right? And so that's what we are here to talk about at this point. We are both here to give a brief description about ourselves and introduce you to the podcast that is going to be named Practically Fit. So, Mikey, if you could give
Sir.
us a good second to talk about yourself.
Yes, sir. Of course. Of course. Um, yeah, so my name is Michael Carrington. Professionally it's Michael, but Mikey is informal family friends, you know. I've known Nakeem for a for a bit. We met in college, so he could call me Mikey. Um, no. But
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
so
I'm so sorry.
what's up, bro?
I'm sorry. I kept calling you Mikey.
Oh no, you could call me that. You're good, bro. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I'll get into some of my personal background. So like I said, my name's Mikey. I'm from New York, Long Island originally. A town called Freeport. I grew up there. Wasn't born there though. Was born in Westchester County in White Plains Hospital, New York. And some of my background, I'm interested in. I have a background in exercise science. And I actually went to SUNY Potsdam. That's where Nakeem and I met. Um, and I finished that bachelor's in technically 2020 of May to finish that
Mhm.
bachelor's of science, and it's in exercise science. So that's kind of how what started to grow my interest within this field. I've always loved sports. I have a pretty good background in sports, growing up doing Little League, PAL, and all that stuff. So I always knew I would do something relative to this field. And as far as personal training, I do that more on a part-time basis, just to clarify, but I have like I call it this. It's like I do it on a part-time basis with a full-time passion for helping
Yeah.
for helping others, for sure. Um, some of my interests and hobbies include I'm actually also a musician. I played music all my life. I've been playing trumpet since I was 9 years old, which was fourth grade. All the way, well, no, not through, all the way into now. I still play. I also am a percussionist. I play percussion as well in a jazz group called the SHC Collective, which is one of my friends' groups. Which obviously I'm not here to promote that, but just to mention that. Um, yeah, what else? So I guess you could say I'm like a musician per diem. Whenever gigs come up, we play. But I'm always playing or practicing something. Um, and what else do we got? Some fun facts about myself would be, hmm, I got two of them. So I was as a kid, at around the age of six, I want to say 6, 7 years old, my parents had me actually do these auditions, these acting auditions, and I actually ended up getting a role on this show called Sesame Street that we all may know. And if we find the clip, bro, we gotta play that. It's a funny. I think my sister has it. I can never find it, but I know she has a screen recording of it on her phone.
Yeah.
I did Sesame Street for like one single episode. I had no lines, but I decided I was gonna speak anyway, and they were like, you know what? We like this kid. We're gonna keep it. So that was like my debut and official retirement from acting. But another cool fun fact about that fun fact is I still will get checks and W-2s to this day whenever that episode airs. So royalties, man, listen, it just takes one episode. Not very much, but it's something, $20 here. And I also used to be a Zamboni driver or an ice resurfacer. which those are
Mhm.
the big machines that drive on the ice skating rink, and resurface the ice in between, periods of a hockey game or in between public skating sessions or skating lessons to just kind of give resurface it, a new surface to the ice. When you're cutting into the ice with those blades from the ice skates, it digs in. People don't like bad ice. So I did that for like 2 years at the one job I held for the longest now, which is my part time. That was at the Freeport Recreation Center in my hometown in Freeport. I held that for like about 6 years, from camp counselor all the way up to like rink guard and then, Zamboni driver. And then now I'm no longer there because I now currently live in Queens, in a neighborhood called Flushing, New York. Heavy Asian
I don't.
community. What's up, bro?
I was gonna say, yeah, I was gonna say to like let it, but don't get too far into your location because are like people are crazy.
I'm catching mine. Yeah, you currently live in New York. We can cut that out.
Yeah, I'm gonna cut that out.
Okay. But I still live in New York. I live in New York City
Yeah,
in a borough I won't disclose. All
and just
right.
leave it like vague like that
Live
because
in yeah, yeah, live in New York. I currently live in New
yeah,
York. Got you. Okay. But yeah, bro. So yeah, that's the general into my background and my journey getting into this podcasting, and I guess more so just getting into this space with Nakeem. I wouldn't say it started in college because that's how we met, and then a couple years go by, COVID happened, and then like recently, like within the last, I want to say month, I hit Nakeem up. I think I asked if you're available to talk or something like that. I was at work and I called him and we were just kind of chopping it up. I don't even think I mentioned it immediately. I think it was like 20, 30 minutes into the discussion. Mind you, I'm on shift. I was just hiding out somewhere. I'm like, I hope they don't find this recording. But and I was just like, bro, like we have so much this is so much information we're talking about. Like, what if we had like a podcast? Mind you,
Mhm.
not having no idea how we would do it, how we could make it happen. But I was like, yo, we were both like, yo, nah, this could be good. So that's how we got here. And this is the journey. This is the beginning, day one for
Yes.
whoever may or may not want.
All
But
right.
but what about you? To kick it back to you, bro. What's some of your background? A couple of quick
Oh,
about you.
okay. Thanks, Mikey. I appreciate that. Uh, before I even go, I would like to say, uh, also thank you for sharing.
Of
I
course,
would like to say before I even go, for the people in the background or the comment section, yeah, just share little tidbits and details about your life and your fitness journeys that you have been going on, right? In the comment section, because you find more often than not that while your journey might not be the same, there are loads of there are parallels between a lot of people, right? And so you're not really doing it on your own. It's really a bunch of people going through the same sort of mess, just trying to figure it out, right?
I like that. I like the way you just put that.
Okay. So here and then now here I go with my background. So like Mikey said, we did meet in college. I was about to say high school. We met in college. Uh,
And
uh yeah, met in college. I I specifically remember how we met because I was the first time I ever met you. We were helping me and Jacob were helping you put some stuff in your mother's car because you had just arrived there, and I was like, oh yeah, who? And I was like, who's this? Oh, that's Mikey. Okay, what's up, Mikey? How you doing? Right.
yeah, bro.
So I specifically remember
Well,
that
yeah.
that being mine and yours first meeting because I think you had met everybody else before, and I was just like I was the late straggler. But either way, still hit it off, still like genuine from the start. Uh, Fast forward a little bit. Um, fast forwarding a little bit, going from there,
Yeah.
moving down to going from being in New York, moving down to Georgia because you know, certain health things started popping up with my grandmother and needed to be down here, right? Came to Georgia. Uh, had originally no plans in finishing school, but then decided to finish out my degree in not yeah in kinesiology over at what do you call it? Not Georgia State, but it's another college down here, GGC, right? Finishing
Hmm.
out my degree there, moving moving onward from there and becoming more inundated with personal training and just personal de I would like to see it as personal development within people's both physical character and mental character, right? Because a lot of times it takes a little bit of both in order for people to be able to actively make the change that they want to make, right? Whether it be losing weight, putting on some muscle, or just feeling generally better about who they are and what they've done up to this point, right? Because a lot of life tends to be harsh on people. A lot of American life tends to be harsh on people who don't know, right? And you want to make sure that you convince people that it's not a sin to not know. You don't know because there's powers that a lot of times there's powers that be trying to get you not to know, right?
Hmm.
And so with
True.
and so
That's true.
yeah, and
That's
so
true.
with that being said, I'm gonna take a little detour and talk about my hobbies, right? Because
Right.
my hobbies are really really kind of simple. I'm really big into anime, right? My first ever anime I've ever watched was Naruto Shippuden. And then recently, I got big into buying hard copies of. I don't know if you can see this, but yeah,
Yeah.
just buying hard copies of
Dragon
the
Ball Z. Oh,
anime that I've watched. Um,
yeah.
mainly because like it gives like watching anime gives a lot of buffer room for me, so that I can do a lot of stuff in between. So like I'll watch an anime and I'll set up uh a lot of work for either myself or one of my clients. I'll get some tasks done for that. But watching anime is not my only hobby. I also do, especially being down here in Georgia, I also do like hiking a lot because especially with a lot of Georgia scenery. Georgia is a very beautiful place. I explain it if you watch Naruto, it's like the village hidden in the leaves because once you get to the top of
Mm,
Stone Mountain, you really just see that Georgia is a big place surrounded by dense forest, right?
wow.
It's very nice to see. It's a beautiful landscape. A lot of hills. Right, reminds me of New York. A lot of hills, but but
Yeah.
yeah, it is really beautiful sights to see in Georgia. Uh, and then one fun fact about, and then from there, I'm going to head into a fun fact about myself is uh, I mean, this fun fact I think sort of if it involves Mikey, right?
Mm.
Because I know you remember when we played ultimate frisbee
Oh,
in
oh, we was
college.
going for the team.
Yeah,
I was sophomore year. I was the second year. I was like, yo, I'm going
yeah,
for it. I was like, pull up,
yeah.
bro. I remember you pulled
That was downright the most interesting thing I
up.
think because because
That's an
ultimate
interesting
frisbee is
fact too, actually, for me. That I tried that sport. Now that I think
yeah
of
that's just something I never would have saw myself in.
it.
But
I was
the
like,
fact
yo,
that
pull up, bro. Let's try it.
yeah, yeah, but the fact that the fact that you had did it, the fact that you had started and you were like, oh yeah, you could come through. I was like, sure, let me see what it's about.
Let me see what it's about. They wasn't ready for your speed though, bro. They were like, no. It
Yeah, no, that
would have
was.
been OD. That
I
I
was, yeah,
I
go
ended up
for it.
blowing my knee out, bro, in the first
Oh
tournament we had.
yeah, yeah. I
I mean, I
remember
didn't
you said
completely
that.
blow it out. It ended up being a bone bruise. I didn't tear any ligament
Mhm.
by the grace of God, thank God. But yeah, and I'll talk more about that later. But yeah, I remember that was funny. I booed.
Yeah,
That was
no,
the
that.
beginning and end of my career. First tournament, second game. And it was our Potsdam alumni team blew my knee.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they were talking a lot of heavy smack, and I'm not a
hmm
big talker. I talk with the game, so I was like, oh, I'm about to get him. I'm gonna get
hmm
him, and then it was just, I was kind of like on a we'll see, and I showed him, and then next thing it was completely just like I didn't destroy my knee. Let me not say that. I didn't.
Yeah, you didn't destroy it, but
But you
it
remember that
wasn't.
though, right? Because I remember I called
Yeah,
Felicia, and then yeah, it was bad. Nobody had a car
yeah.
then.
So yeah.
I had to wait
Oh
for the end of
yeah,
the tournament. Like
yeah.
it
This,
was bad. And then I think you went with me to urgent care or something. And then
yeah, I did.
yeah, my man held it
Yeah,
down. Yeah,
that was. Yeah, that. See, that one is really funny.
that was a funny one. I
Yeah,
forgot about that.
yeah,
We thought we
man.
were
That.
about to take over.
Yeah, and then just stopped. Like that's the funnier part about it.
Yo,
Is,
and it was like it wasn't. I was honestly I would have kept going if I didn't hurt
yeah.
myself. I was like, I that's one thing, yo, guys. If any of you guys are college age, yo, and you sustain an injury, and mind you, like when we went to school, bro, this
hmm
class is like 8 hours away from because mind you, our origin points were still in New York at the time,
hmm
home state. Nakeem had not moved to Georgia yet, so but it was still 8 hours away. You get injured, like you start rethinking, like that, like oh my, like now I have to foster this injury. Mind you, I did that with no physical therapy, bro.
Yeah, but also we gotta mention we were in New York. We were upstate New York,
Upstate
not
New
in the
York.
city,
No,
because
we were not.
I think a lot of people, especially people in Georgia, can understand the wait time to get somewhere if you don't have a car. Because
Yeah,
trust me,
New York.
trust me, when I first came down here and I did not have a car, and I had to do nothing but walking. Hey, I
Oh
don't
my
know
goodness.
how, I
How
don't
they
know
do it
how
down
I
there?
managed. I don't know how I managed, but somehow I did, and it was something. I'm telling you, that Georgia Heat really does. That Georgia Heat will really do it to you.
Wow. And you spoken like a true Georgian. Or let me not say
Hey,
Georgian, because Georgia, the Republic of Georgia is a real place. Spoken like a true Southerner. Let me say that.
yeah,
That's funny, bro. Wow. Yeah, nah. New York, bro. New York is so much bigger. Actually, it's like 8 times bigger than what the city actually is.
yeah,
Almost
yeah,
like it's kind of ridiculous how many NYCs you could fit inside the actual shape of New York.
yeah. And it's also funny how
But
much
yeah,
you don't how much New York State people you really don't interact with versus like New York
bro,
City people.
bro, and it's like
Because
8 million people.
yeah, yeah, it's so funny because it's like especially being down here, you'll run into more people. I run into more people who are from the Bronx than
That's crazy.
like Buffalo.
Yeah. By the way, when Nikeem was talking about hills earlier, that's what he was talking about. He was talking about the Bronx, right? As far as the
Yeah,
hilly, yeah.
yeah.
Cause me being from Long Island, I'm like, I don't know what hills he's talking about. But then I was remembering,
Oh
like,
yeah.
oh, you're
Oh
from
yeah,
the
yeah.
Bronx. If you ever been to the Bronx and you driving or walking, and you hit a steep,
Yeah.
starts going like
Like the
this. Oh, you take your foot
yeah,
off the brake and the car start rolling backwards.
yeah.
Like, yo, how
Because
the Bronx end up with so many hills,
because I forgot. I was good because I was going to say like yeah, no, Bronx iconic for them steps that we have
bro?
in order to
The Joker. Those are the Joker steps, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, the Joker steps. Or if you ever watched J. Cole's music video with the baby and this other dude. I forgot what it was called, but he is he is on. I think he recorded a little bit before I left because
Oh
I
wow.
remember no, because I feel like I remember somebody coming to the area, and because this was like the second time, like this was like the second time somebody big had come to the Bronx, right? Because the first one was like Kevin Hart, and he was recording a movie, and so he had to be
Oh,
at
Kevin
the
Hart.
part.
Wow.
Yeah, those two. But hey, look, none more iconic than them steps in the Bronx for me. Maybe the Bronx Zoo, but hey, like I
I
said,
was gonna say that's iconic. Yeah, that Bronx Zoo is iconic for me. I think even I went
yeah,
to the Bronx Zoo as a kid.
yeah. But okay.
Maybe that's
And
what's up. Yeah.
speaking on speaking on speaking on the fact that we are both from New York, right?
Right. Right.
Like we're both originally from New York. That's like a shared background
That's
on us,
true. That's
right?
true.
But that's not the only shared background we have because we have both made that journey to become a personal trainer. You as like how and I like how you said originally where it's a part-time job but a full-time um
Full time passion.
full-time passion, right? That really does stem that really does hit and and lead us into our next topic that we're talking about, which is just both of our own shared background in this realm of what we are going to continue to talk about,
Yeah.
right?
Yup. Common ground. Yeah. I mean, yeah. I mean, that's the first biggest one is the fact that we're both from New York originally. Went to the same college originally, SUNY Potsdam,
Hmm.
which is you could Google it and you'll just. I'm not. You don't even have to just. I'll just tell you this: the most northern tip of New York, and I'm
Yes,
not talking about Ogdensburg. 40 minutes from Canada,
yes.
like deep out there. Um. So yeah, we met out there in Potsdam. I guess the the ultimate frisbee thing was another brief common interest, which is kind of funny.
Yeah.
Oh, impressive. Okay. Um, and yeah, the fact that, like Nakeem said, I'll just restate that we both took that step, made that
Hmm.
choice to become a personal trainer
Trainers. Yeah.
with,
Personal trainers.
and not for
Yeah.
ourselves either.
Hmm.
Like that's like a big thing, and that kind of, again, that fits in the whole, I'm part time trainer, but with the full time passion. Like I did it with people in mind, and it really stemmed from again that educational background of learning the truth behind exercise, physical training, personal, just any form of activity in general, like how simple it could be made for somebody to
Hmm.
do, but then you go on any social media or any TikTok account now that's like within that 80 to 90% of them. And that's not a fact. I'm just saying that as far as what I see, like that are just, spewing information and putting information out, and that's all good and fine, but you know,
Yeah.
you have a certain amount of influence and people will listen and actually take what you say, and you have to take responsibility for the things that you say. And so I kind of have this whole, I'm going to tell people the truth. I am, when I train clients, I'm there to educate and empower, and I want you to be able to do things like do this on your own. I want to see you maintain. I don't want you to just, you know,
Yeah.
get
Yeah. And
to a
that
level and be like,
right there,
hold on.
that can also lead to what I was going to bring up next, which is just this like giving a highlight moment of your career so far. So like
Mm-hmm.
I know for me, right? I have I have especially with how much I've been training, I have a couple that I have dear to me, right? With
Right.
a couple different clients, right? Where it was I had this one young boy that was that I was training for a while until like he had to stop. And we still connect every now and again. But he was like, not really a fitness kid. Like me and him
Yeah,
probably, if I never worked out a lot, probably would have more in common, right? But
yeah.
he was like a young fitness kid who was a young kid who was rather shy, didn't have much confidence on him, and mother really on a very surface level, you can tell the mother wanted their son to um move out of their comfort zone a lot, right?
Oh, okay.
And 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 become
She was just
more of
being a
a
good mom. She was trying to be a good
yeah,
mom. Yeah.
yeah, and be more of like a physical person, right? And so like I said before, fitness is not just about the physical, it's also about the mental, right?
Hmm.
Making you both physically and mentally well. Where taking it back to this young kid, right? He was not the most physically dominant person. He was probably rather short for his age, or or if not short, just like really, really average height. Either way, he wasn't the
Yeah.
tallest kid. He wasn't the fastest kid, and he like really laid into his ability to make jokes, right?
Ah,
And not saying that that was an issue, but you can tell that it was masking something that he felt that he lacked, right? And through working with him, start started to get a better understanding of like who this kid is and like what he's about. Love this kid, love this kid to death. But it really instantly became a thing of like, oh, he just really lacks a lot of confidence in himself
yeah.
to do X, Y, and Z, right?
Mm.
And he lacks a layer of confidence to be able to show himself off. And so what I started doing with him,
That's huge.
especially especially whenever he would come into the gym, I would I would make sure like a lot of times a lot of the people at the front desk would say hi to him and like,
Wow.
you know, speak to him a little
Yeah.
bit 'cause as like even if it wasn't entirely something they wanted to do, after a certain amount of time, like he's not a bad kid. Like what it is like no, like kids are going to be kids, right? And so you can't really hate a kid for no reason.
No,
It's
you
really
can't.
just yeah, you can't really hate a kid because they don't know anything.
Unless he
So
like
what
stole
it
your car or something. But even even if he did, it's
even
like,
then,
ah, he's a kid. So good.
yeah, it's a kid. Like it's a kid. You have to reprimand him, of course.
Yeah.
You have to let him know that this is not what he needs to be doing, but it's still a kid, right?
Yeah, you can't
So
be too
like,
mad. You
yeah,
gotta
you
make sure
can't.
that he learns from whatever mistakes or
Yeah,
whatever you make. That's great. That's
it's
awesome, bro.
it's and so like yeah, making sure they spoke to him, and then whenever he was with me in the gym working out, I would also make sure that people who I knew in the gym and who were around me would speak to him, right, on a casual basis. Because, he's just a kid who's coming into a scarier world and you got to make it a little safer for him.
Yeah.
And every now and again, he'll start feeling himself. He'll gain the weight that he wanted to gain because he was a skinny kid when he came to me, wanted to put on some pounds. He'll
Cool.
gain the weight that he gained, like starts feeling himself, starts getting more confident, and then push comes to shove, he takes a step forward and like decides to go and get a job and like let me like I was part of the first group of people he had let know. I was like, oh, okay, hey, I'm proud of you. I'm real
Hey,
proud. He's like, yeah, I didn't think I was gonna get it, but then like he was talking to me about like
that's what's up.
how how our interactions helped him and everything and all that and like I mean obviously after he got the job he had to take a back seat to working out because the job was taking more time from
Yeah.
him because and then also like he was planning on going to college, so he really needed to do this for a short stint. He couldn't really keep going for as long as like he wanted to. But either way, even in that short stint of time, we got like a lot out of it, and that was a lot done, and that really made me realize about how much of a general impact you can have as a trainer to
Definitely.
like well to just the lives of everybody around you. That's something that's something that sticks with me. And like I said, I have multiples, right? But this one, I'm gonna just leave it at this one, just to conserve
Yeah.
time,
Yeah.
but just so that you can have a go also. But
Word.
this one was really one of those ones that I really did enjoy for the time I had it.
Yeah. That's awesome.
And
You
so
know, that
you can go with yours if you
that's
want.
thanks, bro. Yeah, no, no, I think you just give a moment for that kind of story and that, I guess, testimony about your client. 'Cause man, that's awesome. Like, I guess recognizing that, like the confidence or the lack thereof. I think that,
Hmm.
like, you having the front desk people say hello to him, like, people don't realize, like, it really is the little things in life that matter, not so much the big
Yeah.
things. And something as little as that, just saying hello to somebody, to you, it's just, oh, this is just something I was asked to do or supposed to do. But for that person, oh, I'm seen.
Hmm.
People see me. Like, I'm not just invisible. People see me and they say hello and they acknowledge my presence. Like, that alone can spark something and speak, that can put something inside of somebody that they may not have never even had or have never felt before in their life. So I just gotta commend you for that, because that's what's up, bro. And I've never
Thank
had that
you.
experience. Yeah, bro. I've never worked. I've never worked. Well, I did work at a gym for a brief time, but oh man, we can get into that even later, because that is a funny story. But
Hey.
the personal training journey for me, bro, like, has been one, I would say, and I'm probably saying non-conventional, and I bet you like more people have probably went through the same thing that I'm going through with this than I even realized. But I guess it's just because it's happening to you, you think it's only happens to you. But um, I've always had a full-time job as far as with the training. The only time I
Hmm.
didn't was when I actually initially became a trainer and thought, all right, I gotta be gung ho, I gotta go be a
Hmm.
trainer at this at a gym, whatever. And
Hmm.
honestly, I ended up not really liking it. It was at New York Sports Club, New York Sports
Yeah,
Club.
I remember you telling me about getting this
Bro,
job.
they sent me, but it was like at the end of COVID. It was like 2022. Every gym, especially in New York, was in such a rebuilding period. As
Stage.
far, yeah,
Yeah.
because but it's so funny. Like, yo, they sent me to like such a dead location. They sent me so like with no, and I promise I'm gonna get into my memorable client, but like
No,
typically
you're
with New
good.
York Sports Club, you get a an FM or a fitness manager. That's basically
Hmm.
like that's your mentor. That's your guy. That is the
Hmm.
person that you go to for. They're supposed to like feed you clients, especially as a new trainer. I didn't get fed any clients. I had like a two general managers, a general manager and assistant manager, and one trainer at the gym. By the way, this trainer was in like the top 10 performers for like the entire company. And she was the only trainer that stayed with the company through COVID and was able to keep, I want to say, either majority of or all of her clients. All the other trainers had ended up leaving. And like, it's funny because when I got there, like, you kind of had very brief conversations with this one trainer, just trying to get insight. You could tell she wasn't really trying to give up the sauce, if you
Hmm.
will. Like, she would give
Hmm.
little like things, but like she was not trying to be taken over by, some young, how old was I in 2022?
No,
24, 24-year-old
I
trainer.
get you.
She's like, yo, she had like the perfect situation. Like, and they just plop,
Hey,
plop me down right there, and
real
let me
quick,
figure it out. Yeah.
not like not to like uh cut your story off,
No, you're
right?
good, bro.
Because I was going to say it's very funny being a trainer
Yeah,
and and
yeah.
other
Please make
trainers
this
try
point that I think you're gonna make. I think I know
and
what
other
you're saying.
trainers being like sort of very stingy with
Um,
information
oh my God,
as
bro, it's
as
crazy.
though there's not like millions of people inside of that one state that, oh, I might not be personally able to contact this person because like they might not want to train with me, right? It's such a weird thing. It's such a weird sense of competition that trainers have with each other that I have never understood, right? Because for me to be like, oh yeah, this is my competition, and then also and then but and also not understand that like, yeah, my competition just might not like we might never have the same type of clients is so funny to me because like one of the big things about training and being a trainer in general is like finding your niche within the within your time as a trainer, right? Like finding your niche and finding who you appeal to and who appeals to you, right, is very important.
Yeah,
And a
for
lot
sure.
of times you can have two trainers that are right next to each other, but they will never talk to the same group of people.
Right.
And then imagine that same person being like, "Oh, nah, I don't want to train with. I don't want to give you information because then you might have such a weird thing.
It
Like
is a weird thing.
that's so very un that's so annoying and also like unproductive, like legitimately.
Yeah,
Because then
it
you're just
really is, bro.
yeah. But I'm sorry, you can continue.
Nah, I'm glad I knew it too. I was like, I'm glad you made that point. It was, bro, it was the weirdest thing. Like I would ask her questions. Like I remember one time I had so they would like schedule like these FOs, fitness
Hmm.
orientations, is what they call them, where
Hmm.
it's basically like a free session, complimentary session, where like this is where you're
Hmm.
making your pitch to get the sale. So you could take them through like basically you have pretty much liberty to do whatever you got to do to get that sale. And for me, it was just
Hmm.
like, yo, every time I have an FO and I come back upstairs, the first question they ask me, not how did it go, how was it? Did you get the sale? Did
Hmm.
you get the sale? Did you get the sale? Did you not sale? So I'm like, yo, that word is just like to the point where like that word was triggering me, bro. And like I
Hmm.
didn't even want to go back upstairs after the FO because I know they're gonna ask, did you get the sale? Like, yo,
Hmm.
this is not what I signed up for. I signed up here because I have a genuine like
Interesting.
affinity and a care for people, and I care about. And actually, I'm gonna go into this real quick. Before I even go into my significant, you know, client, one that really stood out to me. That's another thing with me, with Nakeem and I, is we have a real affinity and respect for the actual science, and knowledge and gaining knowledge and learning and being humble and teaching ourselves and training based off of, and maybe I'm speaking for myself, but I think I'm speaking for you too. Evidence-based practices
Hmm.
and evidence-based procedures as far as the training goes. Um,
Hmm.
so we're not just pulling information out of our minds and experience. I mean, it's in here, but it's knowledge that we acquired over time. But so yeah, one client that I had, and like I said, it's been an on and off thing for me with the training. I've had clients, lost clients, not for any negative reason, just money or I'm not a full time teacher. I work at a school, so I can't I don't work during the summertime, but most of it is financial. I can't continue to pay for training, but this one client in
Hmm.
particular, I almost made a year with her. I really wanted to, but I didn't because again, financial. She had to, she had to do what she had to do, and I respected that. But it was just like, bro, the progress that we made, like, and it's funny because when honestly, I think this is my biggest flex with any of my clients, and this is my goal for any client, but particularly, especially female clients. Um,
Mhm.
and I guess you got to kind of be careful with how you say that nowadays because of all like the different roles and whatnot. But
Mhm.
I don't know, just where I took her from in 2020. I want to say it was the end of 2022 through 2023.
Mhm.
Um, it's just like I guess watching her progression and watching the growth come out of her. Because obviously, like Nakeem said, or what he said without saying it through giving you a description was like you develop a true like a relationship and a rapport if you do it the right way. Like you're gonna know things about your client. Some people may never even see or hear about.
Yeah.
Those things may never see the day of light.
Yeah.
And sometimes you get you develop a relationship with these people because you see them on a regular basis and like I mean you see them go through it because you're putting them through it as far as the
Yeah.
training regimen and the session goes. But with this particular client, she, same thing as far as like the confidence. Um, you know, oh, I can't, like, I don't know if I can do this lift, or like, oh no, you're crazy, like, I can't do this. Like when
Mhm.
she first came to me, like, she couldn't do push-ups. I
Mhm.
think could she do one? No, no, she couldn't do a single push, maybe one, if any, but I don't even think she could. I think it was like just the modified push-ups. I'm not gonna call them female push-ups because
Mhm.
I know women that can do standard push-ups, and I know men that need to do push-ups from the knees on modified. So
Mhm.
I'm not gonna call it a girl push-up. I know grown men that can't do standard push-ups.
Yeah.
Um, but we started out like I remember it going from the modified push-ups to like push-ups on an incline, and then eventually by the end, and I have a video clip of her like just like banging out like 8 solid push-ups. Like these
Mhm.
aren't any like they're not super fast. They're well paced and just boom. Because that's one exercises that I kind of typically not I don't want to say across the board, but an overarching theme with a lot of female clients or just women in general is like they hate push-ups.
Mhm.
They don't like to do. They're like I don't do push-ups. Can I squat? I want to do
Mhm.
legs. And that's one thing I noticed. But just like watching her whole progression from and her form was always pretty decent. I mean, there were always minor
Mhm.
tweaks I had to do with her form, but like towards the end, like before she had to kind of, dip out and handle her business, um, she was doing like, compound lifts. I taught her how to deadlift.
Mhm.
And it's just again, just from she was a good listener. She just listened and she was ready
Mhm.
to learn and humble herself and deadlift
Yeah.
lift she was doing overhead pressing or military press, um, bench pressing, not too much squatting. We started
Yeah.
squatting a bit more towards the end. Squatting was always a tough one for us. Um,
Yeah. I was also
but
going to.
yeah,
Yeah. Continue. Continue.
um, but we found alternatives to kind of train all aspects, and she ended up like losing a significant amount of weight and actually hit her goal too. Which this is the first time I actually like hit a patient's goal like
Go.
before
Yeah.
before the year even was
Mm.
over. Like I think it was like in 8 or 9 months. Because she came to me, I thought she was like 205, 210. I didn't remember. She was actually 215, and she lost a significant amount of weight. Went down to like I think low 170s or 170, and
Mhm.
that I guess that's one that sticks out because she actually got where she was looking to go.
Yeah.
And I tell all the clients like they say thank you or whatever. I'm like yo, you did the work. You actually did it. I just kind of yelled at you twice a week
Mhm.
and just told you what to
Yeah.
do, and you did it,
Mhm.
and then now we here.
Yeah.
It's a
Yeah.
lot more than that, but at the end of the day, like that speaks to like a lot of like, yo, nothing that you say you're gonna do is gonna get done until you actually put the action behind the word.
Hmm.
Which is so funny me saying that because I'm a huge culprit of that.
Hmm.
I'm, I'm caught red-handed with that as far as like saying things and not executing on them. Um, but changing that though, working on.
Yeah. And so with that, right, I want to again implore a lot of the people who would listen to this to understand that like, yeah, a lot of your journeys might start off differently, but it doesn't have to it doesn't have to be I forgot the it's like history. Like it's like history, right? It doesn't repeat, it rhymes. So a lot of your journeys is not going to repeat with somebody. It's going to rhyme. And so just sharing
Mm-hmm.
some of your stories in, in sharing some of your stories is very important to help you understand that it's not you're not alone in your overall journey. You're just rhyming with somebody else,
Yep.
right?
Yeah.
Um, and on your and on and also on your point from earlier with your client, I was going to say that generally my favorite clients in the world are always going to be my women clients, right? Because not saying that I don't like my male clients, they're fine and cool, but there's something to just like a lot of my women clients working a little bit more than a lot of my male clients in general.
Like working harder as far as work ethic
Yeah,
inside the gym.
yeah,
Yeah.
like generally, like it's generally a lot more times a lot more male or female clients are. Oop,
Yeah. I think no, bro, I agree with you. If I could jump in here for a second,
yeah,
because I know one thing about men in any form of physical endeavor, like we generally are the last to humble ourselves.
mhm,
And women, they kind of come in already with this humility and this humbleness of like, okay, I'm not sure what to do here, and I need help.
mhm,
And
yeah,
they're just gonna soak in and absorb all the information that you give them. But you also got to take that again with a grain of salt and really
mhm.
responsibility and knowing that the things you say to them, they're taking at the
Yeah,
heart. And they're like, okay, this is that. Like
yeah,
a guy is more likely to question, well, I've been working out, this, that, I've been doing this on why I gotta
mhm,
do this. But and it's like I think it's harder generally for a male to really sit in that sit back in that seat of humility and say, okay, like I'm at this point. I need to change to be for whatever the reason may be. I want to be healthier. Or I want to, my doctor said I need to this and that. Um, I need change, but I need help undergoing that change and just seeking help for a guy is tough.
yeah,
Imagine going to
yeah,
seek help on like, yo, I don't know how to get my body right or back in shape like that. That takes
yeah,
a lot of pride. Men have a
yeah.
lot
That
of
takes a
pride in
lot of
that.
pride,
So
and that
that's definitely something I noticed. Like they're more likely to, sit in that seat of
yeah,
humility a lot quicker because
yeah,
they already there when they walk into
yeah,
the gym. Where guys
and,
like questionable.
yeah,
I
and
don't
you
know
have to
this.
commend, yeah, and you have to commend anybody who comes in search of assistance, right?
Facts.
And in speaking on that, we're going to get we're going to get into like closing thoughts and everything, right?
Facts.
So just real quick, just closing out. What are your takeaways, Mikey?
My takeaways from the whole from this whole just first episode here.
Hmm.
Um, good question. I like that question. Um, my main takeaway from this first episode here was just hmm, dang, you kind of caught me off. I'm not gonna lie, but yeah, I mean, I
I'll
think
go
there's
first
a
if you need some
general.
time.
I
Oh,
got you. Um,
okay.
I think we both can kind of see that we have kind of this general shared passion for
Hmm.
wanting to help people in it
Hmm.
in whatever way we can. It doesn't have to be personal training. It's just like it's just the nature of our being. Not
Hmm.
so much of like I'm doing it in this space only. Like I'll help anybody that needs help. Um,
Yeah.
to the best that I can. But yeah, I mean that's one of my takeaways for sure. Is we both have like an interest in just wanting to help people, and we want to do it for people, not for ourselves, and not for our own gain. I mean, not to say we don't get paid with personal training and whatnot and things like that. And it's nice to
Hmm.
get paid. Obviously, you need that.
Hmm.
You need capital
Hey,
to be alive and
it's
survive.
always
And I'm
nice
not.
having money.
Yeah, I mean, you need that. We're as we get
Yeah.
deeper into this podcast and going deeper into this journey, we're gonna need more, you know, funds to further push this podcast and getting
Oh,
investing
wow.
in
Yeah.
equipment and whatnot. But
Yeah.
that's a little off topic. But in as far as yeah,
It's still
takeaways,
on topic.
yeah, yeah, kind of. You're right. Takeaways, yeah. I mean, I'm excited to kind of. I mean, this is the start. I'm saying get started. We have begun. We are in the midst
Hmm.
of it. We're in the thick of it.
Hmm.
Um, just kind of getting into this, and I'm excited to see like what people who this is going to actually speak to and who this is going to reach. Because I'm not so much looking to reach a specific group or subset, just trying to reach any and all who want to hear. Um,
Hmm.
so I'm interested to see what the general like interest and what type of inquiries people have about the podcast, about us, what they want to hear, what they would like to hear us talk about, what they want to see, what they would
Hmm.
want to see down the line in the future. Um,
Yeah.
and just kind of see how we grow and how we mesh, talking as individual, as respective trainers in the field, but also, how some of our other interests kind of blend and mesh into this space.
And also being friends.
Yeah, and exactly, our friendship and just seeing how yeah, just seeing how
Hmm.
everything kind of meshes into this one pot, but how it comes together kind of nicely.
Hmm. Um, that's really good. Like picking off of like a lot of what you said, I think I'm pretty much in the same boat as you with a lot of it. As with my takeaways, I especially do want this to be a more interactive experience for like the people who come in, right? I want this to feel as though it is not just us talking to just each other. This is like us talking at a dining room table, and like people are listening, right, as we talk, but then every now and again they get to add their 2 cents in, right, and we'll
Yeah,
listen to it and we'll feed off of it and do what we can about it, right? Um, yeah, just also liking the fact that we actually got this out and that this is an
yeah,
actual recorded episode. Like just the final takeaways is for me is very is really of those two, right? Mainly more so of like how going through this, me understanding how much more I would like this to be a very much interactive experience for not just us, but the audience,
yeah,
right? And that, yeah, that's really what I am touching on with me. But
yeah,
going deeper into this, right, I do have a lot of excitement for, especially after we get done with this, I do have a lot of excitement for the upcoming episodes that we will do, right? Especially with how this one ran. Um, yeah, especially with how this is running. I'm excited for what we have to come. And do you want to tease out what we're going to be talking about next episode?
Do I want to tease upcoming content? Should I just let the ball drop when it drops? Hmm. Let's let it
So,
drop when it drops.
okay. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. So yeah, like this episode is just generally is going to be our, what is it? Our prologue,
Yeah,
Mike. Oh,
prologue.
yeah, this yeah, this is just going to
Exactly.
generally be our prologue, so that you have an understanding of who we are before we get into a lot more of the deeper topics that we have in store, right?
Yeah.
And,
We're gonna go in depth over some of
yeah,
the
and like I was saying before, this is not just going to be this this is going to be an open dialogue. This is not going to be just a dialogue between one and two, me and Mikey. This is going to be an open dialogue for everybody who wants to say their piece on it. And I would implore,
respectfully, of course.
yeah,
I
respectfully,
don't want no
obviously,
crazy comment. No, I'm just kidding. Listen, I heard the
respectful.
internet is ruthless, bro. I don't know. It's my first time really.
Hey, the internet is always going to be ruthless, right?
That's
Irregardless.
true. It's really about our response to that, how we
Yeah, it's
react and
not.
respond to that ruthlessness with professionalism and grace,
Yeah, it's
gratitude.
like I'm not in. As somebody who's, I feel personally, I've been on the internet for a while, right?
Right, right,
I
right.
it is just, yeah, just let that go and just keep moving forward. But yeah, just uh, so yeah, that was just our closing thoughts. I'd like to thank everybody who came in here, who will listen to this. I'd like to thank y'all for listening to this entire thing. I appreciate the time that you gave us.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Tune
Yeah,
in
thank
next
you.
time. Yeah, I
Right.
really do appreciate the time you gave us. No matter how long or short it was, generally do appreciate that. And yeah, my name's Nakeem,
My name is Mikey.
and this has been Practically Fit. Let me end it. Ooh. Can you stop the recording on your end?
Once we, yes, I can.